Welcome to the Bees Business, or welcome back if you've been here before. If you're new around here, my name is Brittney, and one of my favorite things to do is explore the state of Maine where I live with my family. Today we're off on another family adventure, and we're visiting Viles Arboretum in Augusta, Maine. If you are not familiar with Viles Arboretum, it is a botanical garden in Augusta, Maine. It is free to access from sunrise to sunset 365 days a year. Viles is known as a hub for environmental education and outdoor recreation in Maine's capital city. It features 6 miles of trails, excellent wildlife watching, skiing and snowshoeing in the colder months, interpretive signage, 20+ botanical collections, a visitor center, gift shop, and more. The beginning of our adventure was a little bit cloudy and overcast, but before long the sun peeked out, and overall it was a beautiful day. While we have visited Viles Arboretum before, this is our most extensive trip to the area. Despite visiting on an overcast fall day in Maine, there was so much beauty to behold. I was really enamored with these bees on our visit. It was just fascinating to watch them going about their work. They're getting a little bit sluggish as the weather is getting cooler, and I didn't even realize that they were still out at this time of year, but it was wonderful to be able to observe them doing their thing as the season is wrapping up for them. Maine's iconically gorgeous fall foliage did not disappoint on our trip to Viles today. As you can see, such rich colors were available, and the overcast day made the colors pop and feel that much more vibrant. In addition to enjoying the bees and the fall foliage, we were also fortunate to watch and listen to some beautiful birds, as well as interact with a few sluggish frogs. As I mentioned, things are cooling down around here, and so the animals are starting to slow down too. Viles Arboretum is a non-profit organization that was established in 1982 in conjunction with the Maine Bureau of Parks and Lands in order to provide educational, recreational, and inspirational opportunities through the conservation of land and the cultivation of trees and other woody plants from around the world. Located in Maine's capital city, the Arboretum is a no-fee 224-acre botanical garden which features miles of trails, a rotating suite of programs and events, a full-service visitor center, and a variety of habitats home to flora and fauna of statewide importance. If you've tuned in to any of our other family adventure vlogs, then you'll know the history of a location is something that I really value, and the history of Viles Arboretum is rather interesting. Presently, it is 224 total acres, but in the early 1800s, this area was owned by several neighboring farms. From 1835 to 1905, the state hospital purchased and consolidated these farms. For more than a century, the hospital farm provided crops and livestock as well as occupational therapy and exercise for hospital patients. During the 1890s, it was considered desirable for patients to benefit from being outdoors and involved in farming activities. Agricultural labor was used as a means of occupational therapy for the patients during this time. The history of the old state hospital farm can be seen throughout the 224 acres which now make up Viles Arboretum. For example, there is a valve station at the top of the Augusta collection trail that was used for controlling water flow from the earthen cistern to the hospital below. There's also a granite quarry just beyond the rock garden, which is an area where granite was cut from a quarry deposit and used for various projects including foundations. As the saying goes, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and my children are pretty obsessed with nature, much like myself, so it was quite beautiful to listen to and watch them as they observed these bees. A little bit more about Viles' history. One of the most important uses of the land was to provide a dependable water supply for the hospital. The lack of an aqueduct water supply for the large number of hospital patients and employees was a problem for more than 50 years. In 1843, the hospital purchased a spring of water, obtained rights of way from neighbors, and constructed an aqueduct of about a mile of a 1.5-inch lead pipe. The vernal pool south of the present apple orchard seems to have been the location of this first spring, which later became known as the East Fountain. Continuing problems prompted the farm to remove the pipe and relocate the aqueduct trench to a better descending grade in 1852. Additional efforts included the installation of a 3-inch iron pipe in 1856 to improve the flow of water. Finally, in 1876, when the water supply continued to prove inadequate, a new waterworks system was built. The new waterworks consisted of an impounding reservoir and the Granite Hill Reservoir. The impounding reservoir received water from several living springs and drainage from nearly 100 acres. A steam-operated pump lifted the water up to the cistern, a 100-foot square reservoir lined with clay and bricks.
All these are the American chestnut trees that are growing.
Oh!
What?
blight is like a disease for plants.
We will dance away the gloomy days right here. We are silver line, one of a kind, you and me.
Billion American chestnut trees died from blight in the first half of the 20th century.
Wow, that's significant.
And Mimi and Poppy had 3 of them in their yard. But then they ended up getting this blight and died.
All 3 of them?
Yeah, well, yeah, I think, well, maybe there was still one. They almost got wiped out completely.
Stay close when it rains, let me keep parts of you. Hand in hand is how we sleep every night. And I will watch you, breath after breath, hold on. So beautiful. And if you fall, I will catch you. We will dance away gloomy days right here. We are silver line, one of a kind, you and me. We will dance away the gloomy days right here. We are silver line, one of a
And do all that stuff. Or
Wait, where are we?
right here.
Okay.
You wanna go over here and do all that stuff? Go there.
from a distance.
Or just stay with the nature.
So beautiful.
We can go on the green one.
It's gonna take forever.
You don't want to go on the green one?
Sure. Like, I mean, we could,
It is longer, but it's a beautiful walk here in the woods.
we could go around here to the blue trail again.
Can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it.
Some sort of boardwalk right there. Let's close the other one.
What is that bird? That's a funny... Not that one, but...
I'm gonna get wet.
Yikes. Brandon.
The log fell off.
Oh yeah, it just fell off the... Maybe it just sunk. It's still screwed to it. It just sunk in the mud.
Yeah. Alright, well,
Go this way.
keep trucking.
Traffic.
We happened upon somebody playing disc golf while we were at Viles, so either Viles offers a disc golf or there is a disc golf course quite close to Viles. And per usual, Brandon will do whatever it takes to make sure his family is safe and content on our outings, and I didn't come super prepared for just how chilly the temperatures were, so he noticed that I was rather cold, and I wasn't going to say anything because I really didn't want him to take his own sweatshirt off and then give it to me because I didn't want him to be cold, but I didn't have to say anything, and he insisted I take his sweatshirt, and he said, "Give me your camera bag, I'll wear that. It will keep me warm by having it on my back and covering my back." So he took my camera bag, I wore his sweatshirt, and we were all pretty content for the trip. As if the history of Viles has not been interesting enough so far, there was also a piggery. The piggery was a large 3-story barn. For a number of years, the sale of purebred pigs was a lucrative source of income for the farm. The piggery burned down and was immediately rebuilt in 1904. After it burned again in 1944, the raising of pigs was discontinued. A slaughterhouse and rendering plant were located near the piggery. Also near the piggery was a small granite quarry where a stone crusher was installed. The crusher provided materials for building roads, walks, driveways, floors, and foundations for the institution. In later years, the quarry was used as a dump and was eventually filled in.
Yes, that's the point. It will bend and lower you down slowly. You just roll off the tree and I'll catch you.
Why would I do that? No!
What do you mean? Why would
I'm
you
gonna
do that?
get down different ways!
Off it, you would fall right through my
Alright,
arm.
now I'm getting down my own way!
That seems funny.
It's hurting. Ow!
Lose their sweatshirts as they're having fun and running. In the past, there was also a cistern located at Viles. The water from the cistern was used to supply the hospital. While water from the East Fountain continued to be used for drinking and cooking, water gathered in the cistern was gravity-fed to the hospital buildings on the west side of the hospital street. The Augusta Trail now follows the route of the pipe that carried the water. In the late 1800s, the trustees of the hospital boasted of having the best waterworks of any similar institution in the country, but droughts were still a problem. In 1880, a third reservoir was built by damming the ravine between the other two, creating what is now Viles Pond. Water also was occasionally taken from the Kennebec River when other supplies ran low. In 1886, 10 years after the cistern was built, the Augusta Water Company contracted to supply water for the hospital. The hospital used city water in addition to water from the 1876 waterworks until 1915, when the cistern was drained. The farmland on the east side of Hospital Street continued to be used by the hospital for dairy, pigs, poultry, and produce until 1972.
significantly heavier on the bottom. Okay, put your finger in the way.
In 1981, the Maine Forest Service began development of the Arboretum. Trees were planted, fences built, and trails were established. In 1982, an independent nonprofit corporation was formed, and in 1990, the Visitor Center was built. During these early years, Elsie and William Viles, philanthropists from Augusta, organized a group of friends and interested individuals to lead the way forward. Elsie and William also provided significant financial support to move this project forward. Originally called the Pine Tree State Arboretum, the name was changed in 2010 to honor William Payson Viles and Elsie Pike Viles. William passed in 1986 and Elsie in 2013.
Had more of your smile. What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars. Maybe the birds will sing about your heart. Maybe the trees will whisper the word. Maybe the sun.
How fortunate we are to have this beautiful, well-maintained arboretum so close to home and all offered for free. The history behind these 224 acres of land is rather fascinating. Though it may be hard to believe, we've truly just scratched the surface of everything that the Arboretum has to offer. Our family looks forward to future adventures at Viles Arboretum. Thank you for joining us today, and we can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye!
Fill my head